Hi, I'm Renee. I'm the European trainer here at Rare Beauty, and today we're going to be creating a beautiful sunset look on Sophie using all Rare Beauty products. So I always begin every look with framing and shaping the brow. So we're going to use our Brow Harmony Flexible Lifting Gel. This is going to really lift and hold Sophie's brows into place for a beautiful feathered and laminated look. So I like to use the brush to very gently comb and brush the hairs up to lift and expose the brow, and really get every single hair to have its moment. And then once I'm happy with the lift and shape we've created, I like to take the brush ever so slightly over the top of the brow to taper and tidy. So combing the brows hairs up, really working that product into the brow. And what I love about this gel is that it never leaves the brow hairs feeling crispy or hard or unnatural. They will still feel like your brow hairs, but they will stay in that position that you've placed them in all day. So super reliable. Now that the brows are done, we're going to start working on the complexion. So to create this beautiful sun-kissed look, we want to add a lot of warmth and colour and glow into the skin. So to begin, we're going to contour Sophie's face to add a little bit of shape and dimension. To do this, we're going to use the Soft Pinch Liquid Contour. This is in the shade Solace. We're going to apply this using the Dot Blend Done method. What this is we dot the contour in the areas that we want to create and mimic the natural shadows. So I like to place it underneath the jaw, right in the hollow of the cheekbone, along the forehead, and a little bit on the corner and bridge of the nose. Then I'm going to go in with our Soft Pinch Blush Brush to tap and stipple the product into place. This is the blending motion of the Dot Blend Done technique. So we're going to blend and tap the product into the areas where we placed it to create a natural looking shadow. And you can see how quickly that product melts away into the skin like butter, leaving a beautiful natural finish. Using the same brush, I'm going to use the angle of the brush to hug the cheekbone. And again, stippling and tapping that product into place, being super precise with my blending to ensure that that shadow is exactly where I want it. We want to avoid rubbing and disturbing the base underneath, and instead really kind of tap and work that product in to marry all of the products together. This is going to help you achieve the most natural finish and seamless blend. Repeating that on the jaw. So Sophie has a great jawline already, so I don't want to change or add too much. I almost just want to enhance that beautiful natural shape that she already has. So I'm going to focus that product directly on the base of the jaw at the back here, to add as much structure to her side profile. And then whatever's left on my brush, just tap and blend it down so we have that beautiful smooth blend to make sure that there are no harsh edges. And now for the nose. So you can use the tip of the angle of this brush, or we can go in with a smaller concealer brush depending on your confidence and your preference. I like to go in with a smaller brush because I feel like it gives me a little bit more room for error. And we're going to tap and very softly diffuse that pigment down the bridge of the nose and take it up into the crease of the eye, really kind of blending and creating that shadow on the inner crease. This is going to create a beautiful natural contrast that will immediately brighten and illuminate the inner corner of the eye because you're playing with light and dark, making Sophie's eyes appear bigger and brighter. And then I like to go over it with my finger just to make sure that there's no harsh edges and that contour looks as natural as possible. Make sure both sides are even. So this is now where, once you're finished blending, before you can say you're done, you can then evaluate your complexion, make sure both sides are looking the same and you're happy with it. If you want to add more, you can go in and add more. But I would say we're then done with the contour. So that is Dot Blend Done. Okay, so now that we've used contour to add shape and structure to the face, because it's a sun-kissed look, we need to add some warmth in. We want Sophie to look like she's been in the sun all day, sunbathing. So we're going to add warmth with our Warm Wishes bronzing stick. This is in the shade Happy Soul. This is a beautiful buttery stick that's going to mimic the way the sun naturally hits the skin. So the way we like to apply this is I like to work my brush into the stick, really saturate the bristles. Make sure the bristles are evenly distributed, and then I'm going to just very softly buff and apply as you would a powder bronzer. So again, we're not rubbing, we're still tapping to ensure that all of the products marry and melt in together, because everything is about a seamless blend and looking as natural as possible and just like skin. And then I always like to take a little bronzer down the forehead, because it's the most prominent area of our face where we do like to catch the sun. And this way your contour is adding that shape and structure, but your bronzer is giving you the warmth. So we're all about using different tones to create the desired look. Now, it wouldn't be a sun-kissed look if we didn't have some beautiful radiance coming from Sophie's skin. So one of my favorite techniques is to create a bit of a layering story with our liquid highlighter and our brand new Soft Pinch Matte Bouncy Blush. So we're going to go in with our liquid luminizing shade Enlighten directly onto the skin, and then we're going to layer our bouncy blush on top, so that way we're going to achieve more of a lit from within glow. We're not disturbing the blurring properties that this blush will offer, but we're going to make sure that the skin looks healthy, juicy and happy. I always like to have a look at the face and see where the light is naturally hitting the face and place the highlighter directly in those areas. So you're really mimicking the way that the skin naturally shines with light. So directly on that cheekbone, a little bit on the apple of the nose, the cupid's bow, and a little bit just above the brow bone. And then with my finger, I'm going to tap and blend that in. And just very lightly allow the product to blend in, revealing a really beautiful sheen to the skin. And I'm just going to tap the cupid's bow in. And then that little dot on the nose, I just like to kind of work my fingers up as if you're walking up steps. Just work it up, and you get a really nice, beautiful bounce on the nose as well. Okay, let's do the other side. So now that we've finished adding our structure, dimension, and our glow, let's add some color into the cheeks. So this is our Soft Pinch Matte Bouncy Blush. This is a gorgeous hybrid formula where it's a cream to powder. So how this works is you're going to get the blendability and hydration of a cream, but the longevity and finish of a blurring powder, which works for all skin tones. It lasts all day because these are also sweat and humidity resistant, so they won't fade or go patchy throughout the day. So you can trust that your blush will stay in place all day. And they just give the most beautiful wash of color on the skin that brings the complexion to life. Using our Soft Pinch blush brush to tap and stipple it on. I always like to say bounce the product onto the cheek because it's bouncy blush. And then once I'm happy with that saturation of color, again, I like to go in with my finger and tap and stipple the perimeter of the blush to help create more of a gradient of color, so it looks like Sophie's flushing from within to give her that super sun-kissed look. Okay, and then I'm gonna just make sure that both sides are even. Perfect. And then once I've done blush, one of my favorite tricks to do is to almost re-brighten the center of the face and just help to clean everything up. So to do this, I'm going to go in with our under eye brightener. This is like a magic wand where it will instantly light up the skin from within without looking heavy or cakey. It has a beautiful metal tip applicator which helps to depuff and cool the under eye, but also means it doesn't disturb any of the makeup that you're placing on top of. And I like to do a few little dots in the center of the face just to illuminate and brighten without the use of shimmer. And this immediately will brighten and wake up the skin while also hydrating at the same time. My preferred way to apply this product is with my fingers because I love the way it melts into the skin on that skin-on-skin contact. I feel it gives a really beautiful, easy blend and makes it very easy to wear and apply. And you can always apply and add more as you go. So once you've created your gorgeous complexion, you want it to stay put all day, especially throughout the summer warmer months. So this is where the True to Myself tinted pressed powder comes in handy, because not only is this going to set and blur the skin, but it's also going to take away any unwanted tackiness while remaining super healthy looking at the same time. To apply this, I'm going to go in with our powder brush. I like to work the product into the brush, really saturate the bristles, make sure it's evenly distributed in the bristles. And then we're going to tap this in the areas that we want to just reduce that shine for more of a blurred, perfected look. So I like to press and roll the powder through the center of the face rather than dusting and sweeping. This way you're pushing the powder into the skin to give the most natural finish possible and you're avoiding that powdery look. because we still don't want to take away the radiance we've created, but we want to control and target it. And then if I want to get into more target areas, I like to pinch the brush, work it into the pan, if you look up for me, and use it almost to blot any specific zones of the face. So now that the complexion is finished, we're going to move on to the eyes, and it wouldn't be a sunset look without beautiful, fluttery, feathery lashes. So we're going to go in with our volumizing mascara. What I love about this is it's an ultra black formula that is water resistant, but it also contains conditioning agents such as castor oil, which is going to smooth, condition, and care for the lashes while you wear it. So not only are you going to get an amazing look, but your lashes are also going to feel amazing at the same time. So how I like to apply mascara is, if you look down to the floor for me, I really like to lock and load the product at the root of the lash to get as much volume and coverage as possible. Then to really lengthen and expose the lashes, because Sophie has beautiful lashes, I like to rotate my brush and comb that product through. That way you avoid any clumps and every lash gets to have its moment to shine. And this is a great formula to withstand humid, warm weather because of that water resistant aspect. And then if you open your eyes for me, I mean, the difference of how that opens up her eyes is beautiful. So again, locking and loading that product at the root. And then once you're happy with the coverage, you can rotate your brush to comb that product through to really lengthen and expose. And don't be afraid to give it a little wiggle to make sure every lash is separated. So I'm not going to dip any more product onto the brush because I want the bottom lashes to not look clumpy or heavy. We're going to use any excess product. And I almost like to let the brush bounce off the lash and flick it out. So that way you're exposing the lash without it looking like it's got lots of product on them, weighing them down. To finish off the look, we're going to create a beautiful rosy lip using our Kind Words matte lip liner and our brand new Positive Light luminous lip glosses. So using the lip liner, this is a waterproof formula. So again, it will stay in place all day and you can eat and drink comfortably. I'm going to very lightly line Sophie's lips to create a little bit of shape and structure, but not too much because we're going to let the gloss do the job for us. But just running this over the outer lip line. And then very lightly filling in the corners of the lips. And then topping that off with the lip gloss. This is in the shade Glimmer. So these have beautiful light reflecting pigments that bounce the light, giving the lips not only volume and gloss, but drama and impact. They're also infused with vitamin E, so they're really soothing and comforting and hydrating without feeling sticky. And there we have a really beautiful, quick and easy sun-kissed look using All Rare Beauty products.